When my dad collapsed on our front porch clutching his chest, I thought the worst thing that could happen was losing him. I was wrong. The worst thing was watching an ambulance get blocked by our HOA president. She rolled her golf cart sideways across the cul-de-sac like she owned the damn street and yelled, "No emergency vehicles over 15 miles an hour, HOA rules," while my father was gasping for air behind me. I live at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac. You know, the kind, kids on bikes, dogs chasing balls, sprinklers hissing across manicured lawns. It's safe, small, predictable. Until you meet Karen. She's our self-appointed queen, clipboard in one hand, whistle in the other, sunglasses like she's guarding the gates of heaven. She calls herself the Neighborhood Patrol. We call her a storm with a wig. That day I was waving my arms at the siren coming down the street, praying the EMTs would hurry. My dad had turned gray, the color of wet cement. The ambulance rounded the corner, fast lights flashing, and there she was. Karen, parked in the middle of the street, arms crossed, chin lifted like a traffic god. The EMT leaned out the window and shouted, "Ma'am, move your cart." She just pointed to a laminated speed limit sign taped to a post. "Rules are rules," she said. Every second was agony. I screamed at her, begged her to move. She lifted her phone like she was filming us. "This will go on record," she snapped. The EMT tried to squeeze past mirrors, scraping within inches of her cart. When they finally made it through, I ran after them into the house. My dad's breaths were shallow and fast. He squeezed my hand and whispered, "I'm okay," but his eyes said otherwise. He survived that night. Barely. But something inside me didn't. The next morning I messaged the HOA board, explained what happened, begged them to talk to her. No one replied. I posted in the Facebook group. Silence. Then the next day, a letter showed up in my mailbox. From Karen. Notice of violation, excessive noise from emergency sirens. Fine $150. I laughed. Then I cried. Then I laughed again because it was so insane. A fine for saving my father's life. I went to the next HOA meeting. People wouldn't even look at me. Karen sat there smiling, sipping her iced coffee like nothing happened. "We have to maintain standards," she said, voice sugary sweet. "If we let chaos take over, what's next? People parking on their lawns." I went home shaking. That night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I should just pay the fine and move on. Everyone else has given up on fighting her. Maybe peace is worth more than pride. But then I looked at my dad's prescription bottles on the counter. I thought about how close I came to losing him because one woman decided her rules were more important than a human life. And something inside me hardened. Fine, I thought. Let's play by the rules, real ones this time. The next morning I started collecting evidence. I saved the 911 call record. I asked the EMT for a written statement. I went door to door asking my neighbors for footage from their doorbell cameras. I printed out the HOA bylaws and highlighted every line that proved Karen had zero authority to control emergency vehicles. I even looked up city ordinances. Turns out her laminated speed sign wasn't just unauthorized. It was illegal. I made a folder, then a second folder for the sheriff. Because sometimes you don't fight fire with fire, you fight crazy with official paper. But before I could act, Karen struck again. This time an orange tag was taped to my door, landscaping not uniform. Fine $150. My grass was perfect. I knew she was baiting me, and I was done taking it. That Saturday she was on her usual morning patrol golf cart whistle clipboard. I waited until she stopped near the cul-de-sac sign. Then I called the non-emergency number I'd spoken to earlier. "Hi, this is regarding the unauthorized traffic sign blocking emergency access. She's here now." Within 15 minutes, a sheriff's cruiser pulled up, lights off, quiet and steady. Curtains twitched, phones came out. The deputy got out, broad shoulders, calm face, hand resting on his belt. He looked at the laminated sign, first tilted his head and took pictures. Then he turned to her. "Ma'am, did you place this?" Karen straightened her visor and smiled her Stepford smile. "Officer, we have to keep order." The ambulance was speeding. It was dangerous. The deputy didn't blink. "Emergency vehicles are exempt from HOA rules." Her smile faltered. I stepped forward, holding out my folder. I have video evidence and a written statement from the EMT, I said. He took it, flipping through the pages as the crowd grew. Neighbors peeked out, recording on their phones. The deputy finally looked up. "Ma'am," he said loud enough for everyone to hear, "interfering with emergency personnel is a violation of state law. This sign is unauthorized. And driving a golf cart on public roads without a permit is another violation." He clicked his pen. The sound echoed like slow thunder. Karen stammered, "I'm the HOA president," he kept writing. "That doesn't make you above the law." Someone behind me snorted. Another neighbor whispered, "Finally." The deputy tore the first ticket off his pad and handed it to her. Then another. Then another. 3 slips of white paper fluttered into her shaking hands. She looked like she'd been slapped by reality. He turned to me. "Would you like to file a formal complaint?" I nodded. My voice was calm for the first time in days. "Yes, sir, I would." He told her she had to remove the sign immediately. She sputtered something about neighborhood standards. He pointed at her golf cart. "And park that off the street, now." She tried to push it, but one wheel caught on the curb. A teenage neighbor called out, "Need a hand." "Karen?" The whole circle laughed. Her face turned tomato red. She muttered something about harassment and stomped away. By sunset, the neighborhood Facebook page was on fire. The video of her blocking the ambulance plus the sheriff handing her tickets spread like wildfire. First 100 shares, then 1,000. Comments poured in, "Don't mess with EMTs. HOA's gone too far." Even people from outside our community started chiming in. The HOA board scrambled. They called an emergency meeting, funny choice of words given the situation. This time, everyone showed up. You could feel the tension buzzing in the air. The board chair cleared his throat. "Effective immediately, Karen is suspended as HOA president pending review." You could have heard a pin drop. Then slowly relief spread across the room. They also voted to cancel all fines issued that week, including mine. The deputy forwarded the case to the city for further investigation. Karen had to pay a hefty sum in fines and complete a community relations course. For a month, her golf cart sat in her driveway under a gray tarp like a grounded dragon. The neighborhood felt lighter. Kids laughed louder. Dogs barked freely. My dad started taking slow walks again. And every time an ambulance passed through, no one dared block it. We'd just stop and let it go by siren-wailing proud to live somewhere that finally respected what mattered. One afternoon I was putting up mail when I noticed her window curtain twitch. Karen was there, peeking through, lips pressed tight. I almost waved, but didn't. I didn't need her wave. I needed peace. And now finally we had it. The only new thing on our street is a small sticker on my mailbox. "We respect first responders." People smile when they see it. Some even honk. Funny, isn't it? The rules she tried to weaponize ended up turning against her. That's the thing about power. If you use it to hurt, it'll always find its way back to you.